true, Barbara.
Welcome back to another week of the Deadlight Society. I'm Michael.
I'm Adam.
And this week... Go ahead, do your bit. Go ahead.
Otherwise known as Lizard Daddy.
All right. Okay. That wasn't too bad. I'll give you that one. That was okay. You didn't ruin it this time. He's Lizard Daddy because he now has, what, 3?
5.
Well, four altogether, but 3 lizards.
Yes.
3 lizards,
3
a
lizards,
snake.
1 snake.
Yeah, okay.
He's a lizard.
Lizard
without
Daddy.
legs.
Okay.
Lizard Daddy.
We're all going to collectively call Adam Lizard Daddy from now on, so just comment that in the comments for us. Just that would actually be hilarious. So, but you don't actually have to do that. It would just be really funny.
Lizard Daddy merch made up.
Shut the fuck up. No, but all right. Moving past that, Lizard Daddy, we're going into the movie now, okay? This week we're doing Deadly Blessing, which is a movie by director Wes Craven. An early movie from him, but post The Hills Have Eyes and post what was the other one?
Last House on the Left.
There you go, Last House on the Left. I was like, I literally have it on my outline, and my outline's right in my hand, but I still forgot.
I just know it by heart because I'm a big Wes Craven fan.
Oh, that's fair.
That's why I forced Michael to watch this fucking movie.
Yeah.
There's Amish people in it.
Yeah, it's definitely something. Won't give any spoilers away just yet, but I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna give any opinion on it yet. We'll do that post. I'll just give like the regular like ratings and stuff like that.
Michael's a little bitch. That's all.
No, I'm not. I'm a very particular horror fan, and when it comes to religious horror or cult horror and stuff like that, like I'm just not a fan. That too. You're right. I'll admit that, and I know that makes me sound lame as fuck, but like. There's just something about like older horror movies that I can't get into. It's just not suspenseful enough for me. It's not like it just doesn't do it for me. Like I feel like it's all predictable. You know when shit's gonna happen. It's not enough gore. The effects aren't that good. Like I understand. Like don't come at me and be like, oh, it was because it was like the 80s.
Right now because there was twists in here that you did not see coming.
I mean, you're right. Listen.
That's why I watch old horror though, because it's so fucking bonkers and bad shit and makes absolutely no fucking sense. You don't know what's coming next.
You're right, but like at this time, I don't know. It just pisses me off at the same time. Like I don't
like
know.
Your formula. I like. What the fuck is this?
Yeah, see that's what I mean. That we're different fans of horror. That's the whole community, though. We all like different things, and for me, I just can't fuck with the old movies. I try. Trust me, I've tried, and it surprised me that I liked. What was the one that we watched?
House on Haunted Hill.
Yeah, House on Haunted Hill.
Because it's literally a Scooby Doo episode.
You're right. So that's probably why I like that one, because I typically, especially black and white movies, I really don't fuck with black and white movies. Like they used to give me headaches when I was little. Just I don't know. I don't like
now
them.
You're being racist.
Don't go there. I don't know. It's just something I don't like old movies. Like I said, it's just predictable to me, and it's not suspenseful enough that it gets me into it. Like I can't sit down and watch the whole movie straight through because I'm so bored out of my mind that I just can't do it.
I hate you for that.
I'm like, serious. That's just how I feel about it.
I'm like, I guess like it kind of makes sense though, because like you know how there's like classically trained singers and like modern whatever fucking oh hey I just listen to like shit I liked and that's the kind of music I make. I'm kind of like the classically trained theater kind of guy because like I grew up, I was in plays. I would go and see Broadway shows and stuff. So that old-timey theater style of acting in older movies, like whether it be like 40s, 50s, and 60s, that early stuff, I like that a lot.
Yeah. It's like I definitely respect the art form. Like I'm not trying to be on this, like fuck old movies or like I'm not. That's not what I'm trying to say.
You are, and it's offensive.
I understand it's probably coming. It's probably coming off that way, but that's not at all.
It's just ignorant. Like I don't think you've seen enough of them.
You're right. I definitely haven't. I definitely haven't because the ones that I see just haven't hit it out of the park for me enough to be interested in watching more. So like, I'm sure there's some out there that would definitely blow my fucking mind, but like for me, it's just hard for me to find that like the right tune of it, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like I just
now that I know like what you like in it, like I think I can pull from my collection of shit and try to find some stuff.
Possibly. Like I said, I'm not opposed to watching older movies. I just, like I said, I just find it harder for me to sit through them, and I normally don't give them the better ratings like I give newer horror movies, just because I feel like they're also predictable. Like I'm not going to say that the newer horror movies. I'm not going to say they're not predictable either, because they are. But like I can fuck with a new scary movie that even if I know everything that's going to happen, it's just the effects are better. Like the timing, like the effects, the timing, everything just is able to keep me captivated compared to an old time movie where I'm just struggling to pay attention. And like I said, I know how that's going to come off to certain people. Like I just, like I get it, but I'm just not a fan. That's just, and the only one I've been a fan of so far was the Scooby-Doo episode, as you claimed it to be. So
here we are, cycling back. Michael's a little bitch.
Yeah. Essentially, like I said, I understand that's not going to be taken with a lot of support for that opinion. I know a lot of horror fans like old movies,
sure there's
but
people who share it too.
Yeah, that's just I like the newer stuff, and like I said, I understand they're predictable too, but I just like those better. They're easier to sit through for me, so I'll die on that hill.
You notice it on me too. Like anytime you recommend like a brand new movie or something, I'm like, I don't want to fucking see that shit.
That's literally just why we're watching this movie, because I wanted to do Marrowbone? Yeah, Marrowbone. And you're like, I don't think I could sit through that. And I'm like, okay. But I watched it on my own, and I was like, it's all right. Like, it's not awful. I mean, I can definitely sit through it. And then we did this fucking movie instead, and I'm like, this fucking bitch.
Meanwhile, I'm like, yeah, Wes Craven.
And like that's what I mean. Like, if you are a Wes Craven fan, then yes, you need to watch this movie if you haven't already. And if you collect his stuff, then this is a movie that you need to have for your collection. But if you're not a super hardcore Wes Craven fan, and if you're not into collecting all his movies or anything like that, then you could definitely skip this one. This is not a movie that you need to watch unless you are a Wes Craven fan, is really what this boils down to, in my opinion. And from other news articles that I was reading during my research, a lot of people feel the same way. Like, unless you're a Wes Craven fan, you don't really need to watch this.
For me, it's very interesting to sit back and like see the progression of like his art style. Like, you see even like Last House on the Left going forward, you see that weird, like, he started out as a porno director, so it's that porno-y kind of like grittiness to like all his movies. There's a like seediness to it that just feels off throughout the whole thing. And like, no matter where you are throughout his filmography, I think you feel that.
True.
So it's interesting to see the progression and like the seeds of ideas going forward. Be like, I like this, I like this, I like this, and building off of that to now create things like Nightmare on Elm Street and shit like that.
That's what I could definitely say, that from watching this movie, that's really the only thing that I can appreciate, is the things that you can see were reminiscent of his future works from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, because there's scenes in this movie that are literally just
like
shot for
almost
shot.
frame for frame. Yeah, literally. So I mean, that was pretty much the only part in this movie that I enjoyed. Other than that, like I said, I'm not a fan of religious cult like type of horror. So, but it was interesting to see like his inspiration for certain things in the Nightmare series. So, I definitely, I guess, recommend giving it a watch just for that. In my opinion, like I said, it's kind of hard to sit through. It is a little bit boring, a little bit, the pacing's not that well for me, I guess. And again, predictability is really where, like, besides the ending, which again, not spoiling anything yet, the ending's not predictable, at least I didn't see that coming. But there's certain things in here that are predictable or off-putting, and it's just like, why are you making these decisions? Like, you should be smarter than this. Like, but I get it. Like, that's who I understand. That's what I mean. Like, I'm not trying to pick it apart for things that are just like common in horror in general. But those tend to be the movies that I always have the most disagreements with, because it's like, why are you doing this? Like, why are you doing that? That's why I want to make a fucking horror movie where they do everything right and still die in the end, because that That's the only like I don't even know how you could do that, to be honest, because like how do you?
It's been done.
Well, I'm sure, yeah, it has, but I'm just saying like that would be the type of horror movie that I would want to make, because if you're making dumb decisions to get to the end, fuck that.
That gives me an idea for the next one, The Descent.
Okay, I've heard of that.
Yeah, let's do it. That movie.
Okay.
Poopy.
Spooky.
Yeah. It's I forget if it's like partially found footage or like, yeah.
I don't know anything about it. I just heard the title before, so I've heard of it.
It's good. Like I've seen it before, but it's poopy.
Okay, so then you heard it here first. The Descent will be our next movie, I suppose.
That's also gonna hit that good middle ground of like, I like the grittiness of it and like the found footage aspect of it, because that's like all my favorite stuff is found footage. That's what I get terrified by, is like found footage stuff.
Fair. Yeah.
It's growing up on like Live Leak and fucking core.com and shit like that. It's
Yeah.
like I hate real looking shit.
Yeah.
And then you're more of like that, just newer, more
modern horror.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I don't know. I couldn't give you like an exact example of what I like to see, but
I think you like locational horror more.
Locational, and almost like if you mix that with almost like a coming of age type of movie, like Stand By Me.
Yeah.
Mix that. That's why I think I fuck with the It movie so much, because you have this group of kids that it's like a coming of age. You know, like I don't know, something. Those are my favorite types of movies, and horror are my favorite types of movies. So if you were to just combine that, that's why, like I said, I fuck with the It movie so much, because it's like all my favorite things in one.
I mean, you just like Stephen King.
You're right.
That's literally everything he does.
You're right. You're absolutely like that's the horror that I grew up on. That's all the movies that I watched as a kid with my grandmother were the Stephen King movies, like the movie Silver Bullet. Like Stand By Me doesn't really count. It's not horror, but it's still Stephen King. But like those are the movies that I was introduced into horror, and then also Goosebump books. But like, again, you could argue that's coming of age, right? So it's just, that's where my roots come from. So I guess that's where I gravitate to. But when it comes to old stuff, I just can't fuck with it. I don't know. I try. Like I said, I try. It's not coming. But like we're still early into this journey. We're not even a full year into the podcast yet. We haven't.
2 more months.
Yeah,
April 420 actually.
420. Yes, absolutely. And that wasn't a deliberate plan, by the way. That's just kind of when it fell, and it was perfect timing. But so a year will be then. So we still have time to dabble in some other older movies that maybe I will enjoy. But
I'm gonna start actually like actively planning, maybe to be like, hey.
Well, listen, you got to give me some breaks in between though, because we can't just do all, because I'm gonna be burned out.
That's why I'm saying The Descent next, because it's a modern movie and it's like you're not gonna be bored out of your fucking mind.
Yeah.
But like one after that, no promises.
Great. Awesome.
You still haven't fucking watched The Blob.
You're right. I watched the wrong one. That's I watched the old one, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, this motherfucker. I can't get into them.
What we could do is I can watch the old one, you watch the newer one, and then we just combine it into one.
Them.
Yeah.
We could. I definitely watched the old one. That's for damn sure. All right. But before we're going to keep going with this conversation, but before we do that, let me get some horror news out here, because, I want to get it early in the episode before we get really deep into this. But we got Megan dropping on Peacock February 26th. So if you have a Peacock account.
Megan!
Yeah, Megan. Okay. That's for all our Drake and Josh fans out there. But if you got Peacock, Megan's dropping on February 26th, and I'm definitely going to be checking that one out. I don't know how I really feel about it yet. I've, again, another one with mixed reviews, as all horror movies, but I'm definitely going to check it out, and I think I might like it.
It's a better modern show.
Yeah, like I feel like there's a lot of comedy elements in it from what I've seen, so like I'm not going to go into it expecting like deep horror, but
what I'm expecting is a better version of what they tried to do with Mark Hamill's Child's Play bullshit.
Fair. Yeah. That's pretty much probably what it will be. Yeah. But other than that, we got Scream 6 coming March 16th. Excited for that one. That's in my calendar of things to go see. And
so far away.
it is. I mean, it is a bit. We're still only like halfway.
Already
like
giving
a
out
month
those
away.
fucking buckets.
Listen,
month
you read.
before.
I was just going there because we were just talking about it before we started recording, and I had a bone to pick with this fucking cinema.
What the fuck?
How are you going to release these Ghostface popcorn buckets before Scream 6 even releases? Like a whole month before. How?
He fell. Sorry, Michael's talking about this. My fucking bearded dragon just in the back falling off his perch.
He's looking behind me and he's laughing, and I'm like, oh god, what's going on? Yeah, but no, seriously, like how are you going to release those buckets? Or they're going to be gone. They're probably gone already, and they're already on eBay for what, like $60?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the lowest price that I've seen on them is like $65.
Yeah.
The
So
highest is like 200.
that's ridiculous. So I'm going to say something right now. If you were one of the motherfuckers who went to that cinema and bought those buckets and you're trying to sell them on eBay right
or
now,
you're an employee
fuck
taking
you.
the buckets and selling them. You're all pieces of shit, and you deserve to fucking get spikes driven right up your pee-pee.
Right up your... Okay. All right. Yeah, what he
You
said.
can be male or female. You both get spikes in the pee-pee.
I hate you. But no, seriously though, if you really did do that, like you're a piece of shit. That's just really what
scalpers are the fucking worst,
Yeah.
and you deserve.
Same thing with like the whole
hatred and death.
PS5s. Like you couldn't get the PS5s for forever, and people be selling them for like $800-900. And like, fuck you,
Yeah,
dude.
I understand capitalism as a free market. I can do that.
Yeah,
fuck
yeah,
you,
fuck
you
you.
piece of shit.
Oh man. All right, moving on from that though, because I can just keep talking shit all day on that.
I can talk about scalpers for hours. I have faced so many in my lifetime.
Yeah.
At 26 years old already.
Yep.
that I'm
It's
fucking
ridiculous.
fed up.
Yep, it's ridiculous. All right, moving on. We have the new season of You that's now streaming on Netflix, part 1. Kind of argued with myself if like I was going to include that as horror news, because it's kind of more like a thriller-ish show, like not really.
Like I said before, it's all fucking horror with different flavors.
Yeah, so I'm going to include it. I think it counts. So part 1 just came out. Part 2 releases March 9th. So if you haven't watched that show, it's basically about a dude who is nuts. He's a psycho, and he convinces himself that he just gets really, what's the word I'm looking for? Really jealous and like insecure about these women that he's involved with, and he always just ends up fucking murdering people. So there's a lot of death, a lot of gore.
It's me without the murder.
I spit.
I love catching Michael off guard with like really offhanded fucking out of pocket shit.
Yeah, that one got me. I wasn't expecting that. You got me there. But yeah, that's what this show's about. It's definitely, like I said, a lot of murder, a lot of gore. So if you haven't seen that, I've watched all the seasons, and I did watch the new one, part 1 that just released. I don't really like this part 1 so far. I think it's kind of boring compared to the other seasons, but
Is it the same like guy?
it's the same guy. Mm-hmm. His name's Joe.
I picked like another name. Come on, guys.
It's Joe. But yeah, no, it's okay this season. I'm hoping part 2 will be a lot better, but that's we'll have to wait and see March 9th. And then last piece of horror news is that Bill Skarsgård is going to be in the new John Wick movie, which I just found that out the other day. I don't know if that's been pre-release information, so like if you've known that for months, then sorry, but I just found that out, so that's news to me.
I don't follow the John Wick universe because I think it's lazy.
Okay, like I've seen all of them, so I'll definitely see this one. But I saw the news popped up on my newsfeed the other day, and it said Bill Skarsgård was the new villain, and I was like, okay.
The way you're averse to like old horror movies and stuff, that's the way I am with like big budget action movies. Like Fast and Furious.
Oh yeah,
John Wick,
I've never
shit
seen
like that. I'm like, I don't fucking care.
I normally don't. John Wick's the only ones that I've seen like more recent. Like I've never seen any of the Fast and Furious. I'm not a big action movie person either.
I saw the first John Wick, I think, when it came out, and I was like, it's fine, but like it didn't satisfy me at all.
I'm not like
if I want that feeling, like I'll play a fucking video game.
True. Yeah. I'm not like a super John Wick fan. I've seen the other one, so I'm gonna watch this one. I was just more excited that Bill Skarsgård's gonna be in it, so I'm excited for that. But that's it. Horror news for this week. I mean, I'm sure there's other things, but that's just what we're including for you guys for this week. So now I'm going to go into some ratings for this Deadly Blessing.
We're 20 minutes in already.
I know. We'll make the talking about it short because, like I said a little bit ago now, that there's not really much in this besides we'll talk about some of the things that we can obviously see inspired, like parts of the Freddy Krueger, like shit like that. Like, we'll go into some of that. We'll go into some plots and like the ending. But other than that, there's really not much in this. So that part 2 of this shouldn't be that long. But initial ratings for this. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 33%. IMDb a 5.5 out of 10. And Google a 71%. I definitely agree more with the Rotten Tomatoes, but that's just me. And I normally never say that, but I'm on Rotten Tomatoes dick this time.
With the IMDb ratings.
Yeah, I feel like you'd be more on the IMDb because you said you were like half and half, so like that makes sense for you. Let me see. But yeah, summary. Okay, we'll go into some summary for this. It's just after her husband dies under mysterious circumstances, a widow becomes increasingly paranoid of the neighboring religious community that may have diabolical plans for her. And that's it. That's really, like I said, it's a religious movie, like a religious horror movie.
Amish people.
Yes, it's based off of like an Amish community, so that's where the inspiration came from. So,
yes,
yeah.
Sorry, I was gonna say something. I forgot.
Oh, like me, that was me a little bit ago. Yeah. All right. But I think that's gonna be it. Pre-intro here.
Yeah.
We'll give you the trailer for this and. Hopefully it doesn't get copyrighted. A lot of these fucking trailers have been being copyrighted. Like, I get it, but damn, like, it's just a trailer, and we even linked the trailer in the description. So, like, it's not like we're stealing it.
Yeah,
like, go watch the trailer if you need to see. Like, we're just adding it because, like, it's a perfect split between part 1 of the episode where we just talk about like pre-information and then our actual review. Like, we give you a chance to leave and go watch the movie if you want to go watch it, and then come back and hear us talk shit about it. Like, but whatever. It is what it is. At least it's copyrighted and they're not taking it down. It just has like a copyright, like it's not able to play in certain countries. Like, okay.
Alright, which that's fine. Whatever.
It's fine.
My whole thing is just like, eventually, hopefully, when we get like monetized and stuff, and we get to that level, that it's going to be an issue.
Well, yeah, but for right now, we're all right. Like, it is what it is. Like, if sorry, yeah, like sorry if you can't watch it in your country, I guess. But I don't really think that's an issue right now. I'm sure not many countries are listening to us. Thanks for your concern, though, YouTube.
I forget there's one African country that is like in our analytics.
Yeah. Some weird ones do show up.
Tobago or
yeah, and I'm just like, okay, I didn't expect that, but thanks, I guess. But yeah, so we'll cut. We'll give you the trailer, and then we'll be back, part 2, with some spoilers. So again, if you want to go watch the movie, go watch it. But like I said, unless you're a Wes Craven fan, you don't really need to go watch it. So we'll be back.
The after the trailer.
In the rolling hills of eastern Pennsylvania, in this quiet community of simple farmers, untouched by time, a gruesome secret has been protected for generations. Into this world come 3 young women, drawn by the beauty of the land, unaware of the mystery it holds. How could they have known that what they would discover would call forth a deadly blessing?
Your laws cannot crush the incubus. Ours can.
There are 3 of us. We'll manage.
We shall make it impossible for the incubus to rest comfortably in your soul. If thine hand offends thee, then in God's name, cut it off!
incubus has arrived. Those who will not believe. Those who will not be warned.
May you be damned in hell.
Those who will defy its power. Become its prey.
It's him!
The chilling story of terror and suspense. Deadly blessing.
We're going to dive right back in here with our fear flop rating, since we tend to neglect that a lot and save it as an afterthought at the very end of the episode where we're like, oopsie, fear flop. So, as Adam's trying to get his shit together over here in the corner.
Like a little moan before we started. Just fucking give me the giggles.
We always get into this as soon as we're going back to part 2 and we're done with we pause, we give you the trailer, and then we look at each other before we start recording the part 2, and we just fuck it all up. Like, we just crack up. We just say weird things. Like, it just takes a minute to start actually recording.
Fucking scream.
Yeah, it's awful. Like, you just need to be here to see it. But like, it takes us a minute to get into part 2, so that's why I just started right off. And as I'm talking, he's over there still cracking up, and I'm like, "We're just going. Fear flop. We gotta go. We gotta go."
I even said, just go. Just waving my hand.
So yeah, fear flop. Do you want to go first? Or do you want me to dive in here first?
I'm gonna go with a.
Fucking hate you, dude. Jesus! What the fuck are you trying to say? I'll go first. You collect yourself over there, okay? All right, collect yourself. All right, mine is a flop. I'm giving it a flop, and I'm going to give it a flop 7. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to give it a flop 7 because, like I said in our pre-intro discussion here, the only things that I liked was that you could tie in certain things from the Nightmare on Elm Street series. So that was the only thing that I liked about this movie, and the fact that it's Wes Craven. Other than that, I didn't really fuck with it. So it's a flop 7 for me.
Fear 1.
Fear 1. You give it a fear?
Yeah, because I still like it. Because I like Wes Craven.
Well, yeah, I like Wes Craven too, but come on.
I'm giving it a fear 1 because my dog, Wes Craven. And because fucking Mikey.
Okay, from the Hills Have Eyes. Yeah, I get it. All right. Okay, I guess I'll let you slide on that. I mean, just because I didn't like it doesn't mean you can't respect it and like it. Like, I respect it. I just didn't like it, so I can't give it a fear. And it's not a movie that I would want to watch again, so I can't. Yeah, that's kind of how I determine my fear of flops. If it's a movie that I would watch again, it gets a fear. And if it's a movie that I'd watched like more than twice, it gets like a higher rating on the fears, like a past the fear 5, whatever. And very few have gotten like past a fear 6 for me.
Well, that's the thing too. Like, I guess I do have more fears in the book than you do, but for a while there was a big stretch of like flop.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a few flops. I mean, I don't think, like I said, I try not to dissect these movies too much because I understand, like, as a horror fan, that you can't go into it expecting something crazy, like, done, like
these early ones. And
yeah,
shit. If you try to dissect it too much, it's just gonna come back to like, we didn't have money.
Yeah, that's essentially, and I get it, and trust me, I understand. So I guess I try not to, but I just end up not being able to help it. Like, it's just an automatic, like, some of the decisions that they make. Like, example for this movie is, like we said, it's this husband and wife, and this husband was a part of this. I'm going to call them Amish. I know the correct term, it was the Hittites or something like that. It was the actual name for the community in this, but it's like it's a falsified Amish community. So I'm going to call them the Amish just because I don't like saying Hittites because I feel like I'm saying it wrong. But that's who I mean when I say Amish. But you can say something?
I don't know. if Hittites are actually real or not. They might be.
It's in the trivia that I read. It is based off of like an Amish community that did gain recognition like a few years after this in a different movie. So like it was based off of the Amish, and it also said something along the lines of that the co-screenwriter in this, he came up with the idea for the strict Hittite religious sect after reading an article on the Amish in the National Geographic. So
I know that there are like more hardcore sects of the Amish, like that call themselves something different. But I forget what that actual name is.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure, but
no one ends with ites though.
So that's what I mean. It's definitely a play on an Amish.
Also Mennonites.
It's definitely a play on Amish. I'm just going to call it an Amish community just to make it simple for myself. But it's
fucking Quakers.
Yeah. So it's this husband and this wife, and this husband used to be part of this Amish community, and he meets this woman, and he ends up, kind of leaving it because he wants to be with her. And that's mainly the issue of the movie, is that his father, who's the leader of this Amish group, claims that she is the incubus because she took him away from his faith and his family. And it's just slowly as the movie goes on, like all of this, well, not all of them, but it's primarily the Amish community that is the ones that are being murdered and, just taken out essentially. And so what it ends up being is that you have these two girls. Let me see. I'm trying to just get names here. Faith and Louisa, and Faith is the daughter, Louisa is the mother, and it all ends up being that these two women hate this Amish community, and they are the ones that are the black cloth figure that goes around and is killing all of them because they want them gone. Like, they're tired of them. They just want them gone. And I'm just going to give the twist ending right here. Again, if you want to watch it and you don't want to be spoiled, I mean, you've already just got some spoilers, but go watch it because now I'm going to ruin the ending for you. But, this is prior to Sleepaway Camp that came out in 1983, 2 years later, I believe. Yeah, 2 years later. And this is, again, an ending where the female villain here, which is Faith, which is, again, this is the daughter of the mother, Louisa, she's actually a man. So there's a fight scene at the end where she's trying to attack Martha, which is the wife, and her shirt rips open and she has a man's chest, like she's a man. So that's kind of that what it reveals to as that's the incubus. Or that's what Isaiah, who's the leader of the Amish, claims was actually the incubus this whole time, is how this more or less ends.
I'm thinking.
He's thinking. He's got his thinking cap on, y'all.
I have my thinking face on, too.
Yes. I know, I did. I'm looking at him, and I'm like, he has something to say. I'm going to wait a minute. Go ahead.
No, the whole, trans, aspect of it. I'm, thinking about the way that these directors write and everything, and, I don't think it's ever a slight against, a trans community. I think it's more a slight against just how, weird, depraved, and fucked up men are that they're willing to go to, weird fucking lengths to murder people. Because in the past, we have seen murderers go to, dressing in women's fucking clothes, pretending they're old ladies and shit like that. This weird, depraved fucking aspect of these people. Of, what lengths are you actually willing to go to kill somebody?
I mean, true. I mean, if you compare Sleepaway Camp, it was different because, the aunt in that, forced her to be a girl. It wasn't,
And so it's, there's never a slight against, the trans community and, when it comes to these things. I think it's kind of handled well. For the most part, because I know Wes Craven, he's not even one of the type to say shit like that, and he wrote this, right?
Mm-hmm. I think. Well, no, he didn't. Writer. He didn't write it. He took he took the script from, I don't remember who the screenwriters were for this, but he took it and obviously he changed a few things and like put his twist on it. But he said when he got the script, there wasn't much to work with, so he kind of had to, he had to do his thing and get something produced here because they picked him for it after, I forget if it was a TV show that he had just worked on that they wanted Wes Craven for this. They like handpicked him for it, so that's where that came from.
Yeah, like that's. Like when it comes to these type of movies and like when it comes to like those kind of twists and stuff, it's never out of a place of like fuck this community. It's always out of a place of what can we do that's so fucking out there and weird. Like,
I mean, true.
It's not out there and weird now. It's fucking normal, so I can't even say that. But at the time, it was.
At the time, yeah, I was gonna say for
so it's like, what's the fucking weirdest fucking thing that we can do to really hammer it in on how fucked up this person is.
Yeah. And I mean, really, when you...
What length are you going to kill someone?
Yeah, and I mean, when you really break it down, too, like, these characters aren't really trans either.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
They're just... There's something that happened, like, when you take away sleepaway camp, like we said, it was the aunt that forced this child to be a girl because there was already a son in the family. Like, you needed to be a girl. Or whatever the case was. I forget the exact storyline, but, like, that child didn't choose. They weren't really trans. They were forced to be a woman when they weren't. And then for this, like, I don't really know what the case here because from what...
I think it was the same case because the mom says at the beginning, hey, I don't like boys. They're nothing but trouble. So I think the mom was probably trying to force her to...
And it could be because from what the research that I did too, like, they were in love with Martha, which is the wife that was married to, I think, what was his name? Jonathan. No, I'm just checking. Just Jim. Martha and Jim. Sorry, not John. They were the married couple in the beginning, and Jim is the first one that's murdered in this movie, which, again, I'm going to rewind a little bit. This is also my gripe with movies, like, because there's just dumb decisions that they make. Like, the way that he died was so stupid. Like, you're gonna tell me you had all this crazy stuff happening. The dude, the Michael from The Hills Have Eyes, his character was William in here. Like, William just went after the one girl in the beginning of this movie and was like stalker-ish towards them.
Well, it was fucking the one who winds up being the guy. He was like, Incubus, going after him.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, so he was right.
Well, yeah, but like he was harassing Jim and Martha.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't think to like lock your doors. Like, homeboy didn't lock the door. It was fine. Like, William, while they were in bed, like, he walked right in their house. Like, there's no, like, I just, it's the dumb decisions for me. And then after he's finished, having sex with his wife, instead of just, chilling, like, he's like, oh, I need to go out to the barn, like, something with the tractor. And he sees that, like, something looks like it.
The tractor's on in the middle of the fucking night.
I get it, but, like, I'm not going to fucking investigate that. Are you going to investigate that for real?
I have a gun on me yet.
He didn't have one. That's what I'm saying. Like, dumb decisions. Like, he didn't have a gun. He was just like, oh, that's weird. My tractor just started. Let me go out to my barn, even though there was some guy fucking harassing me earlier. Like, let me just... Like, no security.
But, like, if they're dealing with it every day, because, like, this isn't the first time.
I get it, but no. Like, that's just not a decision that I would make, so I call it out as dumb. Like, I think it's fucking stupid. You are. And I get it. I understand you. I mean, you do have valid points, but I'm just saying, like, for me, they're dumb decisions. When I'm seeing it, watching a movie, like, I understand when you're in the moment, it's different from when you're watching it back. Like, obviously, there's always shoulda, woulda, coulda, but, like, just watching it and you're just like, oh, you fucking idiot. Like, here we go. Like, that's just how I feel about certain horror movies. And it's just hard for me to get on board after that. But I mean, that's even with new modern horror. So I can't say that that's just strictly old because I say that about modern horror movies too. I'm like, you fucking idiot.
More about modern, I think, than old.
I'm definitely like, I don't think I have one more than the other, but I just say it in general a lot. And that's, I hate that. That's what I'm saying. Like, I want to make a horror movie where they make all the right decisions. Nothing was made in error.
You fucking spoiled your movie there, man.
I sure did.
What the fuck?
But I listen.
You spoiled the twist.
There is no twist. They do everything right and they still die.
That's the twist. They still fucking die.
You're right. Maybe they survive. I don't fucking know, but they do everything right.
It's the worst character survives and they do everything right.
I don't know. Listen, I gotta iron out the kinks. I'm just saying. That's what I want in a horror movie for me to like give it a fear 10.
That actually would be funny as fuck. Do the fucking who does like everything the wrong way, and then have him survive. And everybody who does everything the right way just fucking die.
That would be funny. That would be like a goof.
That's how you do a comedy horror.
Yeah, I was gonna say that'd be a good goof. But yeah, I don't know. There's certain things you just pick apart and you're just like, that's a dumb choice. That's a dumb choice. So there's a lot of that I feel in this movie as well. I'm trying to think, but I guess like we said, we'll kind of talk a little bit about the comparisons to The Nightmare on Elm Street, which came a little bit later after these movies. Mainly, it's just two things that at least we saw. I mean, there might be other things in here that other people caught, but from what I was able to gather, there's two things in here that are reminiscent to the Nightmare on Elm Street series. One of them being the snake in the bathtub scene is almost frame for frame from the Nightmare on Elm Street when Freddy Krueger's glove comes up in the bathtub. Instead of a glove in this movie, it's a snake. Obviously met with a scream and like I said, almost frame for frame exactly what happens in the Nightmare on Elm Street movie. So that was the first thing that I saw. And then you also have the second distracted once again. You have the second thing that is reminiscent of the Nightmare on Elm Street, which is just one of the girls that comes, one of Martha's friends that comes to help her after she loses her husband. I think it's Lena is her name. She begins to have disturbing dreams where she believes that death is pursuing her. So it's just like crazy dreams that she's having, and she feels like she's like actually going to die because of them. So obviously that's very reminiscent to A Nightmare on Elm Street, as that is the whole plot of Freddy Krueger. He kills you in your dreams. So that's what I gathered. I don't know. Is there anything else that you saw that was? Really. Just those, right? It's just really that. The dreams and then the bathtub scene.
Well, that, and then I said the end sequence.
Well, yeah, you're right. The end, when the ending, after it's revealed who the killers were, Martha ends up going back to L.A. Or was it? Now, see, on my list here, I have Lena. So maybe it wasn't Martha then. So Lena, which is one of the friends... Yeah, okay. It was Lena that was one of the friends that was having the dreams. You're going to have to cut this part. But Lena, the one who's having the weird dreams that she believes that death is coming for her, she goes back to L.A. and Jim's ghost is trying to warn her about the incubus. And, you know, as that's happening, the very ending here is the incubus bursts through the floor and drags Martha to hell. So... Again, I'm kind of confused here why my notes say Lena and Martha, but I guess maybe it was Lena that had the dream of it happening, and then it happens to Martha. I'm assuming kind of what happens. I kind of got lost in the ending here. Again, because it was hard for me to pay attention. But that's the ending sequence, and like you said, that is very also reminiscent to a Wes Craven Nightmare on Elm Street movie, is that scene. So
pulls that bitch through the window.
Yes. So that's that. I feel like... I mean, we obviously skipped around a bunch here, and you don't know the full thing. But like, if you want to watch it, go watch it. It's streaming right now. Not for free. You have to have HBO. Wait, no, I lie. It's on Tubi. I scrolled up too far. Hold on. I got two different outlines on my phone right now, and I scrolled all the way up to the menu, and I was like, wait, HBO Max? I was like, that's not right. And I was like, oh shit, that's right. Deadly Blessing below Tubi. It's on free right now for Tubi. My bad. It's an hour and 43 minutes long. 1981. You know, director Wes Craven, like we said. So you could definitely go watch it if you want to. If you're okay with watching religious horror / cult stuff, then, you know, I recommend it. But if you're kind of on the same boat as me, where that stuff typically bores you, then you definitely can just skip it. But I don't know, is there anything else about the movie? I have one trivia thing that I wanted to mention before we end here, but...
Fucking no. It's really like, it's straightforward. It's just like, there's only a few deaths.
Yeah.
Kind of boring. Like, it's fine. It's like a normal fucking like early slasher. Like, if you've seen one early slasher, you've seen them all.
True.
It's still like it's wrapped up in that weird like holiday horror fucking slasher thing where it's like, let's take whatever we can and make it into horror.
Yeah.
And this just happened to be an Amish community.
Fair enough. Let me see. So the last thing that I just want to bring up is that the other iconic, I guess, moment from this movie is the scene where the spider drops down and ends up going into the one girl's mouth. In here, that it's a famous sequence from this movie that is talked about, or I guess well known from this movie. And from the trivia that I have here, it says that director Wes Craven tried to persuade Stone, so that was Sharon Stone, to film the spider scene by holding the creature himself. And she's still unconvinced. Stone requested that its teeth be removed. And despite crew knowledge that this would make it incredibly difficult for the spider to feed, the operation was still performed, and Stone agreed to continue. So basically, they ripped the spider's teeth out, and then they dropped it into her mouth. And so spiders were harmed during the making of this film.
I fucking hate them for this.
Yeah, I did read that, and I was kind of like, oh, that's a little fucked up, but all right. I mean, personally, I don't fuck with spiders, so like, I get it. I wouldn't want to put a spider in my mouth either if it had its fangs. But
being lizard daddy, like, I care for the small creature.
I get it, but I understand her perspective. But then at the same time, you shouldn't have ripped the spider's teeth out. You should have just made a really realistic spider then to drop into her mouth. Like maybe drop a real one, but just drop it on like something fake, and then just switch it to like a fake.
Black licorice one or something.
Like something you could have did. I understand you wanted it to be realistic. You wanted a real spider in her mouth. I get that, but like to rip its fangs out, like it's not going to be able to feed properly for the rest of its life. I mean, obviously it's a dead spider now anyway. From how old this is, doesn't really matter. But just it's kind of cruel, I think. But from today's standard, PETA would be on that shit.
Yeah, I don't think
that would not happen today, at least to my knowledge. I don't.
Well, it's like even fucking shit like arachnophobia and like 8-legged freaks and stuff. They used real fucking spiders for it. They didn't even do that kind of shit.
Yep.
They actually made sure like everything was okay.
Mm.
Like arachnophobia and stuff, they're like, yeah, we used like a couple of obviously got like crushed just by mistake because we used thousands of them.
Yeah,
like, it happens. But for the most part, we got every single one back and like where they needed to be.
Yep.
Fucking wild.
Not this one. They ripped its fangs out.
Man.
Good God. Yeah, good God. Yeah. Good job. I think it was Sharon Stone again that requested that its fangs be ripped out. So good going. Surprised they listened though. That surprises me too. That they're like,
yeah, especially like
sure,
early actress like her.
Yeah, I know this was kind of like an early film for her. She wasn't even like Sharon Stone yet. You know what I mean? Like she wasn't big, but they're
that's
like
the other like interesting thing with this and watching this. It's like you get to see the early career of like two people.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's it. Gonna be honest. We're at 45 minutes here recording, so it's gonna be a few extra minutes with all the intro, outro stuff. But like, I think that's it. Like I said, I don't think there's much to unpack here. Really, it was just stuff that you could compare with The Nightmare on Elm Street. But other than that, like I said, if you're a fan of Wes Craven, go watch it. If not, you can skip it. It's really not that important to watch.
Yeah, like my personality. What the fuck? My opinion. My opinion on this is like Nightmare on Elm Street is basically this movie, but done better.
Yes. Yeah.
Like it's basically all the same shit, just way more like beats to the point.
Yeah.
Everything like good, special effects good. People not ripping out spider fangs.
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
watch Nightmare. It's better.
Yeah, I can agree with that. We could definitely end on that note for sure. So yeah, that's the end of this episode. Just again, general thank you to everybody who's listening, still listening, who finishes the whole episode and sticks with us.
Every single one of you. I hate every single one of you. I'm sorry. No, I don't. I love you.
I was going to say, listen, don't make us lose our 4 fans that we have.
Kristen, I know you're listening. Please stay.
Yeah, but just a general thank you. Make sure to, like I haven't actually shouted out a little bit in a while, our Facebook page or TikTok or anything like that, but definitely go give us a like on Facebook. Go follow our TikTok account, all under the same thing, the Deadlight Society. That's our name, so you can search us up anywhere. And if we have an account, we'll be there. But generally, we just stay on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook is kind of like our main three. So if you're not following us on all three,
condense down social media.
Huh?
We don't. It's easier to like condense down social media interactions through there instead of like everything. Like we're on less stuff, but
yeah,
easier for us with 2 people.
pretty much. So yeah, if you're not following any of those, please go follow them. And if you're following one and not the others, please go follow all of them. Definitely helps us. Also, we love interacting with you guys, as we said before. So if you have any commentary at all, either you agree with us, you don't agree with us, you have a question, a movie that you want us to watch, like please do comment, reach out to us. Like we do love to talk to you guys and comment back. So yeah, just like I said, thank you for everybody who does that so far. Also appreciate all the love, just the like, shares, everything really helps us with the algorithm and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's it though. I think I'm gonna stop talking because I know I talk a lot, but just I like to talk. That's why I started a podcast now.
That's why I just kind of let Michael go sometimes.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like it's mostly like 80% me talking and then 20% you following up with like, yeah, or this is my opinion. Like, it's just me talking a lot.
Going on a fucking rant.
I talk a lot. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm just the hyperactive fucking.
Yeah.
Actually, I can't even say that. Sometimes I'm just fucking sleepy and tired.
Yeah, he just stares at me. He's just looking at me like, you talk a lot. I know. I do talk a lot. I'm sorry. But yeah, no, that's it. Where are we going next week? What movie you say?
The Descent.
The Descent.
Yes.
Okay.
I said The Descent.
Is that? Let me make sure that's streaming somewhere because I don't feel like buying it.
Oh my God,
Let me just hold on. We're just gonna check it real quick. Give me 1 second here. The Descent, 2005. Does that sound right?
Yes.
It's not, but maybe I can try to make it work if it's good enough. So
I'll fucking make it work.
YouTube, if you have a Prime Time subscription, or Hulu with the premium subscription, but sorry, I'm not the rich bitch over here with the premiums. Even at Amazon Prime, you have to have the premium subscription. Damn.
What does that mean?
I don't know. That's what I'm like. What the fuck? If I pay for these things, why can't I watch it? But it's all right. Whatever. We'll figure it out. Whether we do this one next or not. But that's the goal. And if not, maybe we can actually get Marrowbone in here since I fucking watched it, and then I have watched this fucking thing for you, so you can watch Marrowbone from me. But we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll be back, whether it's a week from now or 2 weeks, but we'll be back.
We will. See you next episode.
Yes, see you next time.